Joe Franklin here again, a little bit of memory laning. Joe Franklin remembering today, I guess, my mentor, my all-time favorite, Eddie Cantor. He was known as the man who made Whoopee. His big Broadway show was called Whoopee. His co-stars included Ruth Etting. And I think we can pretty securely say that Eddie was in his heyday #1 in every category. #1 in movies. 1933, 34, 35 movies like Alibaba Goes to Town, Roman Scandals, Strike Me Pink, The Kid from Spain. They'd line up around Radio City Music Hall, around the block, around the clock to see Eddie Cantor's movies. In radio, at the peak of the worst depression in the history of our country, in 1931-32, the Eddie Cantor radio show was far and away #1. The whole population of the country was maybe 100 million, maybe 90 million every Sunday night from 8 until 9 listened to Eddie Cantor. He, the apostle of pep. He was the cheer, the happiness we needed in those days when we needed cheering up from the glumness, from the insecurity of that era. #1. And then he became, after that time, the confidant, the right-hand man to President Franklin D. Roosevelt. He'd go to the White House and chat with him. In fact, they created a situation known as the March of Dimes to collect dimes for the incapacitated, for the polio victims, and that became tremendous. He was a big Broadway star. He was #1 in the Ziegfeld Follies with Will Rogers and W.C. Fields. Far and away #1 in reviews with all the famous comedians, Burt Williams and Will Rogers. And when it came to capturing the mood of the public, now I captured him when I was 17 years of age. I presented a show at Carnegie Hall. Joe Franklin presents Eddie Cantor in my 40 years in show business. We sold out the entire house for $100, and $100 a ticket then was like $100,000 a ticket now. People were broke, but they coughed up that money to see Eddie Cantor. Now the show got rave reviews. We were bombarded with offers for Eddie to do the show on Broadway. Didn't want to, but he did take it out of town for a few select cities around the country. There was one city, Minneapolis somewhere, where in the auditorium that seated 6,000 people, it was the most horrific snowstorm of the century. About 8 people showed up, 8 people in the theater that seated 8,000. And the road manager, the company manager, called me and said, "Joe, what should we do? Should we cancel?" I said, "You got to ask Mr. Cantor what to do." So he asked Mr. Cantor. He said, "What do you mean, cancel? These are the 8 people who came out in the snow to see me." And believe it or not, that night, in front of 8 people, he did the #1 most startling performance of his entire career. And I will never forget. That's a lesson in show business. The show must go on. Eddie Cantor remains in the memories of those who saw him. The man who inspired Al Jolson, the man who inspired everybody that followed. He was warm and compassionate and loving. He was truly a great humanitarian and a great star of all time. Eddie Cantor, the man who made Whoopee. Banjo-wise, and I miss him very much. Thank you. Joe Franklin remembers. I'll be remembering with you everybody. Jack Bendy, Eddie Cantor, Al Jolson, Rudy Valley, Kate Smith, Bob Hope. Judy Garland, Mickey Rooney, the golden age of show business, Betty Davis, everybody, and they'll give you everything in the way of behind the scenes, behind the screens, what happened on stage, backstage, in various stages of their lives. It'll be most compelling, exciting, fascinating. I'm looking forward to doing it, and I'll be proving with you and for your mommies and daddies that everything old is new again. So be watching for me, and Joe Franklin remembers the memory lane as it was meant to be, the best of the past. The past is not passé. We'll be reminiscing all through these next many, many years. Let's be in touch as we listen to the reminiscing. Thank you so much.